What's up, champs? I hope you had a rock solid weekend. Let's see what a little birdie told me and dive straight in. So, on the TradFi markets, I'm not going to give you that much of an update because things are rather boring. We're still hanging around here on the Dixie, and we rejected somewhere around the 786, like I said, took some liquidity, and we are still ranging around in this area over here. That is despite a whole lot of news events last week. So let's see what this week has in store for us. We do have a major impact event that is on Wednesday, where we have the CPI decision coming out. It is widely expected in the very high 90% region that we will have a pause. Let's see. What I do want to do is spend a little bit more time on the higher time frame with our beloved Bitcoin, and let's just quickly have a squiz over here. So what I've drawn out here for us to see is, again, as I usually do, try is just to build a little bit of a picture. And as you can see, we've got this maybe gimmicky, maybe not. It indicated the moon phases and moon cycles. As you can see in the last couple of calls, it's been exceptional. You know, you can't get much better than this. You get a couple of percent move, major move. What do we have in store for us over here? We are due for a drop according to this moon phase indicator. So let's just clean that up and take it off. So that's data point number one. We can expect the a drop according to that indicator. The next thing we have is resistance until proven otherwise in our longer high term frame channel over here. And as you can see, we have been rejected quite a few times. What are we going to do as we approach this channel once again? We do have our Bollinger Bands sharply dropping off, and we also have the following. Let me show you here. If we view things as we always like to do, just get this on the screen for you. If we view things as we like to do as ranges, essentially all that we're doing on a much higher time frame is ranging. We've had this nice range over here with good midline support. We broke down, came into this range over here, and essentially it's had fantastic midline support. Clean this up a little bit for you. Fantastic support over here and respect. We've had some fantastic respect over here. You know, as far as I can tell, there's nothing to be excited about at this point. We certainly have not entered a raging bull market at this point. We have a tiny little bit of effervescence and a pop here, and everyone gets hugely excited, but there is no crazy retail-driven sentiment here, as we very, very well know. In fact, I'm going to show you something quite interesting as we move on to another chart. But essentially, the picture that I'm continuing to draw for you here is the fact that until such time as we break back into this top range over here, the bull market is certainly not on. And this has been hanging on by a thread, as you know. How many times can this demand zone be tested? Let's get our demand zone back here. Just move perhaps to a daily time frame so that it isn't hidden. Our demand zone at around 25K keeps on getting tested. Essentially what's happening here is we do have some market makers defending this zone over here for a couple of moves up. That's all very fine and well. Is this going to get exhausted? How many times do they want to push this up? Unless and until we are going to start making higher highs and claim this area over here and not just take liquidity and continue down until we actually confirm that we turn this area into support and create a higher high, we have no confirmation yet that we are in any way in a bull market or even in a mini bull phase at this point in time. So, from a from a higher time frame perspective, what can we expect? I've given you a few data points here that doesn't give you a huge amount of bullish kind of stance. So let's continue with another view on the markets. I've got a couple of indicators that have also been performing very, very well. It's a fear and greed indicator that has picked the lows and the highs very nicely, even for these tiny little pops up here. That's a couple of percent trade up here. Really nice little pop up here. All of the greed uh, cycle tops here. When I say cycle, obviously these are a few days, but they've got some very, very nice trades. You've got your fear indicator here down at the bottom, up to the top, etc., etc. The point that I'm getting at here is that we've been in quite a zone of no indication over here in this zone and in this zone over here, but until we've got our latest little indication that this is a potential top. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to show you is as follows. Our histogram area that I have given you a little bit of indication, I think it was last week in the last video. Let's have a quick squiz and go back and have an understanding of how this market operates from a sheer sentiment perspective. When we see on this histogram anything that looks anything like a top formation like this, that's the cycle done and dusted. We should continue to see it have its trough formation like that. Okay, we do have sometimes a second little wind that comes up, for example, there. Here we have another one. This is pretty normal. This is pretty normal. Here we've got a second one that comes up slightly. So it's not very often that we see these little second ones. However, when we do, what could we expect coming after that? Let's just have a look at when it has happened. Fine. So here, what do we see? We see a little top, quite a dramatic drop off, and then we see the second wind over here. However, is this an actionable trade when we see because we don't know what the future holds. We see a top formation like that over here. We've got a few indicators firing. We have had some liquidity that's been taken. What is the next logical step? Well, I'm building the picture. Okay. Let's continue to have a look at what happens next. Sometimes you have what looks to be a top. Let's pick this one over here. There was a little bit of a local top that if you had your risk management, you could have even had your first TP if you got into a trade over here. And fine, you get stopped out with this massive rise up. Nobody can tell exactly what's going to happen in the markets, but you can start building a picture. So at this point in time, where let's pick another one over here. We had a slight pop up again over here, but essentially a pretty decent looking histogram over there. What happened? Wham! We slammed right down. So I hope what I'm doing for you is I'm starting to build the data to give you an idea on a higher time frame perspective that things aren't looking too rosy for any major crazy moves. Okay. As we have been tracking, like I said on Friday, this looks like it's starting to roll over. This is our perpetual CVD that we always have a look at. And hey presto, it is starting to roll over. Also, spot CVD, no higher highs at all, still continuing to bleed off. Has these tiny little bounces and bumps onto the bottom with these very, very lethargic little pops back up. But certainly no great shakes in that department. Let's quickly move on to our lower time frame. Okay, what do we have here? This is the channel that we have been tracking that you have seen on the higher time frame that I drew out. I'm just trying to orient you here. There's quite a bit going on in this chart. This has been our um, range, our fixed range that we've been using and tracking for quite some time. Just take that off so that you can see this is the local range that you should be using to scalp. So I did have some comments. That's what I'm talking about over there. I did have some comments asking, can you give some more actionable trades, some potential trade setups? So I'm going to be giving you some trade setups and ideas today. If I've now done a good job of giving you an idea that actually at this point in time, until such time as we break above that higher time frame, let's take that off the screen and let's come to this part. Wrong screen. Unless we get above this area, as we know, claim claim this area and jump up into the top side into this area, like I've said, into this area, we can just literally continue playing this range. We've had a rotation to the top. In all likelihood, we could continue seeing this. Listen, this is a very, very bearish picture. I do understand that point. But the thing is, just stick to your theory. And as we've seen, we've got a very, very good demand zone over here that is being defended, but lower lows. So essentially, just play what you've been given here, and take your swing shorts as they are given to you. Continue playing them down. Hedge yourself with your swing longs that are given to you, and literally have both running at the same time and scalp in between. Okay, so how do we do that? Let's have a look for those trades. Let us have a look for those trades right here and right now. That is the request that I've had. So let's do it. Right. What have I done here? I have, over the past few days, I've given you some really, really good ideas of how this BTC asset has been absolutely picture perfect in terms of its TA and its respect. On Friday, I did say that I didn't quite trust this to be the low area as we were building higher highs and what looked like higher highs and higher lows in this bullish market structure. And I did indicate that I was looking for lower. Some of the people on the group were calling for 26.3, I think it was. But if you have a look on the historical, let's actually bring this up for you. Really just want to give you an idea of exactly why I say this asset has been trading so beautifully. I was looking at 26.2. I should have actually put it on the group, but 26.2 exactly. You know why? Because as we've seen in the past, the sell and buy imbalances have been absolutely sweet. Um, Obviously, I've tweaked my EXO such that it's giving good results. But as you can see, bang, that's the area. Had a beautiful rise after that. Again, actually, as you can see, uh, I was. This is the point on Friday which I had to bid you farewell and shut off for 2 days. But as I look at the chart again here, perfect little reaction. Take that as a scalp. So essentially, what I'm getting at here is, let's move this across. Essentially, what I'm getting at is the following. For scalps, let's have a look at some scalp setups. Unfortunately, one of the scalps has already taken place as I was getting the video ready. I've marked out our liquidity zones, as you can see, as I do for you every video. What happened is they've already had a spike up into this area, and if you're quick enough, you should have taken the scalp. There was a whole lot of liquidations that occurred, and what happened is again straight back into the top of our channel. It is looking pretty bullish right now. If you just have a look at the market structure. However, what is what is actually happening? How are we getting these rises? This rise over here is not a very healthy rise, and I'll show you how we actually got that rise. Okay, let us zoom in and have a look. This rise actually happened on a drop of open interest in the short side. So actually what happens, this was a short squeeze. There were a whole lot of liquidations. And then what happened after that is the longs jumped in. Okay. But what happened is they jumped in, not a major price rise as you can see here, and they jumped in, and what happened? We had yet again a reaction off of our selling imbalance. We had a little scalp reaction over there. Then what happened is price rose once again, and all of the longs that jumped in over here obviously had their stop losses over here, and there was a little liquidation hunt, or at least a stop hunt, probably not liquidation hunt, a little stop hunt. And what can we expect now? You can even still jump into a trade literally at this point in time. Just, you know, set your stops over here, just like these guys did over here. It's worth the punt. This is a pretty weak market, and hope to get your trade going down. Just use some good risk management, and you should be fine. So as we are on this screen, let me just quickly show you. We had a very lethargic week last week, not much commitment, but this is what I want to draw your attention to over here. You've got some nice open interest building. Okay, that is what market makers want and need in order to move the markets around. So we are starting to get to those areas once again where you can expect some volatility and some excitement. Will that be today or tomorrow, or will we have to wait until Wednesday until we get the news coming out of the Fed? Just bear in mind everything that I've been telling you, and you should be fine. You are going to more than likely get a move this week. That was your first potential trade. Like I say, you could get a very low time frame market structure change, and if you wanted to get into um, a less risky trade as opposed to just hitting the trigger as you see those little liquidations moving up into the liquidation area, you can still take your trade. Now, if you see something like this, here's your trigger, and have your stop loss somewhere over here. So that is your first trade. Where do you want to target? Because this is a shorter little trade, basically you want to target the bottom of this zone, this range that we have formed over here, perhaps down to the bottom of these wicks over here where you can see this liquidity pool. Then what you want to do is you just literally want to reverse the move. If you see a quick move down and a liquidity grab and some liquidations, your next little trade can be, obviously, and this is a scalp trade. You're going to take your trade, and you're going to just be aware of this liquidity down here. Just have a look to see what happens in this area. And if you do get that reaction, that quick, fast, spiky reaction, take your long trade. Again, back up to the top here and just play ping pong. This little range over here is reacting pretty well. Absolutely picture perfect. You've got your reactions up at the top here into the liquidity pools. You've got your nice little spikes over here. That's exactly what you want to see, and just keep on doing that all day, every day. If, however, you do get stopped out and we do continue pushing up here, you want to start looking for your day trades, and the areas to have a look for, I have marked out with some confluences. You've got some fib levels here. You got the 6.5 and you got the 7.1. These are two zones that I want you to have a look at. You've got the sell imbalance, as I've shown you. Selling and buying imbalances have been acting absolutely fantastically as areas that you can get reactions from. So that's some confluence there. Then you've got this liquidity pool over here, your daily naked point of control going all the way back to the 31st of August in this zone over here, and the 7-1 fib. 7-1 fib has also been giving some very, very good results lately on BTC. So this is more of a day trade kind of area. In fact, this is an area that we've been targeting for quite some time. So this could turn into a nice swing trade, in fact. So look out for that. And what you want to do with this trade is target all the way back down to the bottom over here. As you can see, I've marked out some liquidity areas. You do have this fair value gap over here, which is a complete magnet. Your market makers are really going to want to be targeting that at some point in time. So I do expect price to revisit this area. And when you do get back to this area, again, look for your bigger trades, your ping pong. What have you got down here? You've got a huge amount of confluence. You've got an order block formed on the change in market structure. That's your lowest order block formed on this change in market structure. So that's a great trade to take in terms of reversal. You've got this liquidity pool, you've got the bottom of this channel, you've got a daily naked point of control, and this demand zone that we have been speaking about that I've marked here as major hard time frame support and resistance. Okay, so that's the bigger trades. Now there's one more area I want to make you aware of. And that is the reverse of what I've just shown you at the bottom. Here is your highest order block formed. So as we moved up here and started changing market structure, this is your highest order block over here, formed on the change in market structure. And you've got a liquidity pool and you've got a daily naked point of control. And a few days ago, I drew out all of these different I think it's a moving average. The bottom and the top one is a moving average, and this over here is an anchored VWAP, all converging over time in and around this 27.9K area. So that's another area I do expect to get some kind of a reaction out of, and this I'd be targeting for another nice swing trade. Don't forget that this would be just forming the lower high in our overall high time frame bearish market structure. That pretty much is it for me today. No, I lie. I wanted to show you some other TA that I did on our potential soul trade. This is looking really busy, I do know, but if I clean it up, this is what you were used to seeing, and I've showed you this quite a bit. Okay, so we have this range over here, all right, clearly defined. We have the fixed range giving us some kind of volume profile and understanding of, if I get the right one here, the understanding of where we are at. We do want to take trades below the value area low, as we very well know. So we're waiting to target this area over here, where we've got our order block and the bottom of this defined range. This, however, is what I wanted to show you, which just adds further confluence and a time aspect, which is really nice. Let's add these parallel channels. We have this higher time frame parallel channel, which has got some really decent respect. If I drew straight, it would help. Look at this midline respect, really decent. We've got touches at the top here, and we've got the same thing, this longer term touches on the bottom. So that gives us more confluence for around about this time. And let's have a look at this smaller channel that's also pretty decently respected, also all pointing down to around the end of the month, end of September. Let's see how things go. As we do know, traditionally there are some pretty bearish kind of stances in the TradFi markets around the September and October kind of time frames. So all in all, that is it for me today. I hope I've done a good job. I've been out of the markets for 2 days, but hoping to get back stuck in this week and have some decent trades. Trade well, my friends. May the odds ever be in your favor.